Welcome to another edition of Art of the Kickstart. Today I am super excited because I am speaking with Marissa and Ed MacDonald, creators of Buffalo Cart. If you haven't heard of Buffalo Carts yet, you should. It is a Texas-based startup company that is producing American-made innovation in electric-powered carts in their system. So Ed, Marissa, thank you so much for joining me today on Art of the Kickstart.
Thank you. Our
Thanks.
pleasure.
Thanks, Roy. We really appreciate the opportunity.
Definitely. So, Ed, I gotta talk to the crowd, and if you would, tell them about your product as if we've never heard it before. What is Buffalo Cart?
Buffalo Carts is electric powered outdoor convenience. This particular system really actually lends itself to outdoor activities and helps in eliminating or reducing the stress, the strain, and sometimes the injuries from moving products and gear in the outdoors.
Now, trust me, I've gotten injured multiple times taking all of my kids' stuff from the car to the beach, from the car to wherever. This is absolutely a product for obviously all the parents out there, but I think all of the people that just want to enjoy the outdoors and bring all of their gadgets and things with them, right? So, when did this begin? How did this become a business?
Well, originally about 4 years ago, I guess it was, I had a company in Austin that ran I guess it was a sports complex there, and they needed some kind of system to be able to move things around. So because I have a design company called MB Innovations, started designing this little cart system here, some without motors and some not. And as I got into it, I realized that, hey, wait a minute, this would solve some of my own issues with camping, with hunting, especially, and moving gear around. And I saw a huge potential for this. So I ended up buying the thing from them and went down that path there. And I spent the next couple of years really just going forth and looking at what design features could we actually use. And that's when it all of a sudden came to the whole product where it is now. Is wait a minute, if we put electricity and we put a cart and we can hitch it to the vehicle, does that eliminate some of the main issues that we were having, which is moving, gear around from place to place?
So let's talk about some of those design features, right? You've got this idea, you've got this invention in your mind. How does it go from paper to being fully product developed, where you've got a prototype ready and you're able to run a Kickstarter campaign for the funding?
Yeah, so for those who've never done that before, that is a pretty long journey filled with all kinds of challenges. But for me, because this is what I do, is product development design, I knew what that journey would entail. And it really entails building some initial prototypes, proof of concept products. You go out there and test it and find out this doesn't work or that doesn't work. I have 3D printers and stuff, so I can always make minor changes. But really it was designed to meet specific needs that we identified. We spent about a year really doing some deep diving in other systems out there and really kind of tried to address in this design a lot of the faults or lacks thereof in the basically other products out there. So that process took, I guess, 8 different versions to get to this point, and each version was building on the failures or the left outs or whatever of the previous version. And so that process finally got us to where we are right now, and that is the current Buffalo Carts. And the design parameters and the design concepts came from all those years of prototypes.
Impressive. So, Marissa, what's been your involvement in getting Buffalo Carts up and launched and fully funded on Kickstarter now?
Yeah, absolutely. So my background is in tech, and one of the very first tech companies that I started working in was actually marketing and social media surrounded. And so when Dad first had mentioned that he wanted to go ahead and do the Kickstart, I leveraged my background knowledge and how we could really take this to the next level with different avenues and sources. And so it's been great to not only see individuals come in and give their comments and their feed, but also to see from the back end them sharing and really validating there is a need and people are finding it very interesting. So it's been a really great journey along the way.
Nice. Talk to me about how you guys have gotten your entire friends and family group surrounding you involved in this campaign, maybe in the video shoots or doing some product testing. But it's always interesting to, one, have those closest to you be able to be involved in that process. So how have you guys gone about leveraging your community?
Yeah, so from my standpoint, from the product development side of it, and then the testing, um, it's really been interesting being able to bring people into this. My girlfriend Pam has been phenomenal. If you look at some of the earlier videos, we would take it out to the park and run around and talk to people and stuff, and she would give me the input, and they would actually give both of us feedback. And then that video led to the next video where I brought, both my kids into this. And my son, who owns a construction company, gave me input as to, hey, this is where construction might help or might have a need for this. And then both of them have been real involved in the initial videos for it, feedback for it. And then we sort of branched out to either farther loop of friends. And that's been another key thing that we've had, is a really good group of good friends that really believed in me, maybe not the product all the time, but they did believe in me. And then that helped get us to where it is. So from my standpoint, having both of my kids involved in it in different aspects, and, people like Pam and other friends, that's critical. I wouldn't be where I am now if it hadn't been for their input.
Absolutely. And to piggyback off that, I think when anybody who's an entrepreneur goes into, a project or a new concept, it really does take the support of the community efforts and, reminding them that, every little step along the way is going to be a different journey. And, I think Dad does a great job at really staying focused and coming up with ideas that are sustainable to that and overall direction of where he wants to take it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And at the core of crowdfunding is trust. And if you don't have that with your friends and family willing to get on board and be involved in this process at whatever step it may be, you're not going to have a successful company at the end of the day, but let alone conveying that then to the consumer that's on the other end of the page, seeing this product for the first time, never been exposed to it, and having enough trust and credibility to put their credit card on file and willing to pre-purchase this product without having an experience with it, but knowing that you're solving a problem for them in the future, is all what crowdfunding is built for. And I think that's what the beautiful part about Buffalo Carts launching with Kickstarter is, really having not only the friends and family support, but the crowd support come on board. And again, helping you guys get fully funded pretty quickly within the launch of the campaign.
Absolutely.
Exactly right. That is so important.
So let's talk about the campaign a little bit more and some of the preparation work that you guys did in advance to make the campaign fully funded at this point. What were some of those things that you guys did in preparation?
Well, we did a whole nother series, a round of videos, more from an explainer standpoint than some of the original videos that we had. We have a great company here in town that did all that for us. So we had to actually work with your team and building a script and a storyboard for the video. That was a great process, by the way. Your team did a super good job, and we did a good job down here. And then the whole putting together the actual story, the Buffalo Cart story, and what's involved in it and stuff like that. And many steps that your people put us through. Did two things. One, it told the story, but it helped us at this end be able to actually put the story together in a way that would actually make sense for the crowdfunding business.
Absolutely. So, you've been working with us here at Inventus Partners for a while now. What were some of those considerations that you guys went through when choosing an agency to partner with for this very important launch?
Well, I think for me, what was really important is trust. Roy, it was really all about trust. And because I've been involved in product development for 25 years, and I've worked with quite a few different companies, and pretty quick whether or not you feel like there's a trust right there. And I felt from the very beginning, talking to your group originally, was that there was trust and that they would work with us and that they would partner. And I see really the partnership part of it is what really meant a whole lot to me, is because we're both in this for the same reason. And I was really impressed. I talked to 6 or 7 other companies, And it just never quite got that really good feeling of, hey, wait a minute, these guys are legit and they really do have my best interests at heart. And they certainly have, the success.
Absolutely. So, Marissa, I know on the marketing side, it's been interesting in terms of the outreach. Can you talk to a little bit about how you've been able to find different pockets of consumers that this product has spoken to?
Yeah, absolutely. So, initially in looking into, what we identified as the demographics, that definitely evolved and over time in gathering different information, looking into, who's reaching out organically to us, who is, following us on our different social platforms, really giving us an understanding of, okay, we can actually extend to these areas as well. So that's been really great. And then obviously a little bit of A/B testing to kind of tweak and see, does this messaging work for these individuals? And it's all just a game of, what sticks to the wall pretty much. And so I think with that there was some obvious demographics that we expected, but also some that we didn't expect. And I think that kind of speaks to the product as a whole in itself and why we were able to, in just a little over a full week, to guarantee the Kickstarter funds. And so it's been really fun. It's been great. It's been a lot of, creativity, and then going back to, the drawing board and figuring out, what can we do next? What other areas can we reach out to? And maybe even seeing, okay, we thought this would work, but it's not. And then just kind of, retrying it. And I think that's the fun part about, doing Kickstarter and even the marketing aspect is you have an idea and just watching it truly evolve into its own, creation.
Yeah, that's the amazing thing of Kickstarter, right? There's a clock at the end of it, but you're also willing to be as agile as possible to test and try out as many different things because you can see a conversion at the end of the day based on those efforts that you're doing in marketing and advertising and positioning statements and split testing all of those elements. So, again, it's great to be able to see that and have the insight of what's working now so that you have better insights of the longevity of the company thereafter.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I think from a product development standpoint, what that really does is that really helps validate. But also, one of the very first things that I had wanted to do when we put the original business plan together is this wasn't about what I wanted for people, it was what people wanted from me. And that was really huge. And just there are quite a few examples of I thought this was what people would want. And then as we went through the process, well, wait a minute, this is maybe it's cool to me or needed for me, but other people don't. And that feedback back and forth is it's invaluable. It really is invaluable.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many campaigns we've worked on where they're like, no, this is my customer, this is my avatar, this is what they look like. And their customer is actually way over here on the other side, completely foreign to what they thought it was going to be. But then having conversations with them and understanding their pain points and the problem that they solve, it really opens up whole new categories for different products that have launched on Kickstarter. So it's just amazing to see that you're having that feedback and then learning from that as well.
Well, it's really nice to be in a place where you are allowed to have that happen, because a lot of times when you're raising funds or whatever like that, it can only be the business plan's way, and that's it. That's the path, and this path gives you the right connection at the right time.
Absolutely. So what's been the biggest surprise of the campaign so far? I know we're only, a week or so into this, but any big surprises that you guys have learned?
I think probably one of the biggest surprises I learned is the the willingness for people to ask questions. I really enjoy that. They ask questions about the product. There's back and forth, and like I say, we've only been in it for a week or two. Um, I really enjoy the feedback from people, the backers, I guess too, and really not a lot, very little negative at all. Which was, I've launched other products and people, oh, they poo poo this or whatever like this. And I think because it is with you guys and is on Kickstarter, there's a lot more legitimacy to it than just the raw marketing that I've done in the past.
Absolutely. The credibility factor is there from both obviously
Exactly.
your history and then what we've been able to do together with other startups.
I think it's also
Right.
fun too to just see so many different people tag their friends, their family, individuals within other networks and share. And, while there, obviously is to be expected that level of, connection and, driving individuals to the website. For me, I thought that it was much more overwhelming than I had originally anticipated. So having people share out our ideas just really brought everything to life. And, when you've put so much time and effort and energy into something, you obviously hope that it's going to go that way. But to really see it kind of take off is the way that it has in different aspects and demographics has been really fun.
Amazing. Well, this gets us to our launch round. Ed, you drew the short cart. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. So what inspired you to be an entrepreneur?
That really goes way back to my early childhood, having grown up in the jungles of Papua New Guinea. And one of the things that really impressed me is, my parents were actually able to go into the jungle, build a jungle home. And I actually lived in a grass hut for many years when I was a youngster. But that whole development is my parents really taught me to be not afraid to step out, not afraid to do something different, learn as you go, and just make it happen. And that was instilled in me a long time ago. And so from that, I really learned that I can do what I need to do. And I really learned to believe in myself. That steps right over into entrepreneurship, is because you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in what you're trying to do. And you have to believe in a greater purpose for what you're doing. And so that's what really impressed me growing up, to be able to do the entrepreneurial path.
Amazing. So if you could meet with any entrepreneur throughout history, who would you want to have a coffee with?
I'd like Edison. Edison is my hero in a lot of ways.
Nice. So what would be your first question for Sir Edison?
Really, how does he maintain his perseverance? How does he keep doing it? How does he keep time after time after time going forward?
Yeah, indeed. Perseverance. There you go.
Perseverance.
What do you think? Yeah. What do you think are the top 3 skills that every entrepreneur needs to be successful?
I think hard work, determination, and really just a real desire to make it happen.
Yeah, solid skills there. So what's one invention that's made your life easier during the pandemic?
I think a little bottle holder that clips onto the pocket to hold the little sanitizer bottle. I didn't see anything out like that, so I designed it and printed it, 3D printed it myself. But having the little bottle of hand sanitizer was a great idea.
Nice. Lovely. An invention on top of it as well. All right, last question. And I know the Kickstarter campaign just launched for you, but really interested, Ed, to hear your take on what does the future of crowdfunding look like?
I think crowdfunding, from my background dealing with venture capitalists 20, 30, or venture VCs 20 or 30 years ago, is where I see crowdfunding really being more and more an integral part of the entrepreneurial's life. No longer are the VCs the main go-to. I see really this Kickstarter and the whole crowdfunding thing being a much more prominent place in taking products to market. It checks off so many of the boxes that the other systems don't check.
Indeed. Well, this has been amazing. Marissa, you've been quiet, so this is your opportunity to give the audience your pitch, tell people what you're all about, where they should go, and why they should check out Buffalo Carts.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. I think that anybody who's out there who knows somebody who has, been an entrepreneur, that it's a fun and exciting journey. And I love that Kickstarter, really exposes the general masses to individuals who are, really living and fulfilling their dreams with, great ideas. And so I would encourage you to go check out Buffalo Carts on Kickstarter. Also, look around at other things too, and always keep your mind open about the great future of potential out there. I think even with shows like Shark Tank, it has a lot of people interested in what it looks like to be an entrepreneur and, how to be involved with that, even if you're just on the consumer side. So, join people along the journey, support the communities around you. And if you ever have a great idea, entertain it. It's the fun side of, what the future holds and how to make things more effective and efficient, such as Buffalo Carts.
Absolutely. Well, Ed and Marissa, thank you so much for joining me on the show. Audience, thank you for tuning in to Art of the Kickstart. Make sure to go to the website to check out the notes, the link to the campaign, and everything else we talked about today. And of course, I got to shout out our crowdfunding podcast sponsors at Product Type. Ed, Marissa, thank you so much today for joining us on Art of the Kickstart.
Thank you. It's
Great.
my pleasure.
Thanks, Roy. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
Of course.